Sorry about that. Had to take a second there. I think your swim was kind of having issues. But welcome, Thursday, September 18th, 2014. And welcome to the second free WatchMadazTrade Live Trading Session. And thanks to all you guys that have attended yesterday. And of course, if you couldn't make it yesterday, that's why I had the second day here. So it's pretty awesome that you guys can make it out, and hopefully we got a good trading day today in the market for us to take advantage of. It looks like MOBI, yesterday's runner, hit 12 today pre-market. Looks like I got some bad news or something and it started tanking again. Not really sure what happened, but either way, it looks like a total pump and dump. And all of this happened during, after hours and pre-market, not even during regular market hours. So pretty interesting action there on MOBI. And of course the IPOs today. In case you guys missed the tweet yesterday, and of course the after hours session did mention that there's 4 IPOs today, and they are VKTX, FOMX PRQR, and RBIO. So 4 IPOs today on tap. Hopefully we get a nice one like TKAI was yesterday. And speaking of TKAI, it is up 7.3% right now. So keep an eye on that one. $27 a key resistance. And again, if you have any questions, please ask the question, if possible, in the WatchMadazTrade room via stockhaven.com. By going to stockhaven.com, clicking on chat room, and clicking on WatchMadazTrade. A lot easier for me to see the questions in there, so would appreciate the questions asked in the chat room. Also, RWOK is gap down $1.30. TKNR gapping up 30 cents. AVNR gapping down 50 cents. The market is up today. A couple cents off the all-time highs. Some pre-market movers. VVUS gapping up a little bit here, about 80 cents. Live, a little bit of a gap up. So yeah, nothing entirely too impressive. So could be another potential slow day. Maybe the IPOs will inject some life into it. AVNR below $12. Pretty much a key level. Could be a nice short against 12.20, 12.30 if it ever gets there. VVUS range right now between 438 and 467. Yeah, but for me, Thinkorswim, the charts weren't loading, and I had to load it like 3 or 4 times, but I finally got it to work. Hey man, thanks for this. You only watch 4 stocks at a time? No, I actually have 4 monitors, so I'm watching 16 stocks at a time. I focus on 4, but I keep an eye on 16. So TKAI is still gapping up here, up 10%. One of the bigger movers. TKMR and AVNR, 2 stocks I'm looking for shorts. I'm trying to locate shorts on MOBI. Not available at the moment. Looking to see if TKI can still be a solid play here. live, gapping up 17%. Hi, why do you use the TOS charting instead of DAS? You're using DAS for trading, right? I actually like the TOS charting a lot better just because of the whole the studies that it has, and also this, the way it looks, and also you can draw the support and resistance lines, and they can stay on the chart wherever you scroll it. So it's pretty cool. It's just something that I'm familiar with, and I actually just like the charting DAS just because the level 2 is faster. Hey Max, can you post the other stocks that you are looking at? Pretty much just the same stocks from yesterday, and a couple of the stocks that are moving pre-markets. I'm looking at pretty much VUS, Live, G Pro, Sino from yesterday, SINO, MBLY, NETE, TKMRs. Got shorts for MOBI, so that's pretty cool. So we'll be shorting all pops on MOBI, shorting all pops on TKMR up to 22 threes, and also we'll be shorting all pops on AVNR up to 12.2, 12.3 as well. You do not trade pre-market. Usually I don't, just because the fees are higher unless there's something really appealing. But right now there's nothing really appealing, so that's why I'm just kind of just chilling. But most of the time I really don't trade pre-market unless there's something that's just really good. So right now TKAI, the range is pretty much between 25 and 27. 27 break is definitely key, obviously, because this thing was at 30 yesterday. 27 break, this thing goes to 30. So it's pretty close to that level right now, so just keep an eye on it, see if it can make a nice move. Could be a nice play. And of course, waiting on the IPOs that are coming out. If TKAI breaks 27, do you look for a pullback to enter? Absolutely. And also if it pulls back out of the gate, I'll probably load that too. Or it drops down to like 25 or something, I will probably buy that as well. It is breaking 27 right now, so TKAI looks like a pretty good long setup going into the open. Still about 10 minutes to go, so anything can still happen, but TKAI looking pretty good here. $2 range. still a lot of sellers at 27 on TKAI, so it's not a clean break yet. So you got to see that clean break of 27 for a move toward 30 to be in the cards. RWLK is easy to borrow today apparently at the typical short brokers like IB, Interactive Brokers, so could see a tank on RWLK. We'll watch for it. Collapse to 30, 29, 28.5 or 26.6 or 26.75 would be pretty welcome on RWLK. That would probably trigger the short sell restriction on, so should see a bounce from those levels. Still waiting on TKAI to break 27. Still having a little bit of trouble here. Still a lot of sellers. Max, I see most of your trades are scalping and for very short term. How do you decide when to leave a trade for a longer term? Usually when there's a lot of potential for upside, but most of the time, just for peace of mind reasons, I just take the money off the table and look for an entry, a better entry later on. Usually there's always a better entry you can get in later, but sometimes I've seen myself do intraday shorts. I did it a couple of times on TKMR where I kind of identified that the stock was going to fade throughout the day and did an intraday short and held it for a couple hours. So usually when that's the case, I kind of see the trend forming, and when I see that the trend's going to hold up in one direction for a long time, that's when I hold it for a little bit longer, but usually most of my trades are scalps. So today we had a couple of opportunities to do that actually. Maybe intraday short on TKMR and MOBI, ABNR could be in the cards. So we'll have to see. Again, TKAI trying to break above 27 again. Not able to bust through. Trying it again. Still can't see it to break through that 27.2 level. 3 straight wicks hitting it. Got 4.5 minutes to go. Still nothing overwhelmingly impressive this pre-market, so like I said, prepared for a slow day, which means we'll be playing with smaller positions and taking it easy with the trades. It looks like RAD has gapped down pretty bad on earnings as well, so keep that one on watch. RAD gapping down pretty bad, 13% off the bat. Earnings trying to build a base here around 5.6. Could see a little bit of a bounce. Yeah, I saw the BSPR on live. It's already fading a little bit. How do you kill the urge to trade? I don't know. I think the incentive of not losing money is enough for me to not want to force any trades at this point. I know it's tough, but I guess you can just go out and do other things. Just try to get your mind off of trading if you find yourself having trouble not forcing trades. Is the top left box the same as the bottom one? No, the top left box is, I think, current positions. The second box is orders entered, and in the bottom box is orders closed. The closed positions, open positions, and orders. TKAI trying to make a move here again, but looking like a harder reject now. Nasty fade. This could be a nice washout to buy, actually. If it hits 25, we'll look for an entry. Got a minute and a half to go. So we'll look for a reshort on MOBI against 11s if it ever gets there. Reshort against 12.3 on ABNR. Looking for a washout on RWLK to 30s or below. Washout on TKAI to 25 for a bounce. Less than a minute to go. Also keeping an eye on RAD for a bounce, possibly to 6, and then possibly a reshort against 6 or 5.95. TKMR making some triangle. Those don't work anymore. Well, TKMR has a tendency to sell off usually after these moves, so I usually keep an eye out for that. Alright guys, 3 seconds. Get ready for it. In some 4 shares, 200 shares of TKMR against 25. A little bit of bigger of a washout, so we'll load the bigger washout. Next support level around 26, 24.5. Looks like it was available for only a couple seconds. Pretty nasty washout. We'll sell this bounce. Nice little bounce. Trying to sell at 80. Filled at 80, so made quick 300 bucks off of that little washout. Try to buy more at 24.5, but couldn't put in my order fast enough. Got in at 25.2, so a little bit off on the entry, but still walked away with 300 bucks profit in a matter of seconds using the textbook buy the dip, sell the rip strategy that I'm trying to popularize right now. Mobi now taking a nosedive below 10. Wow, this thing is just total piece of crap. Low volume too at the open at that. Low volume on TKMR, VVUS, nice volume, but it's kind of going nowhere. RAD making a move now, 580s. So far the only trade, TKMR got in at 25.2, 500 shares, sold it for a 60-cent gain at 25.8. Made a quick 302 bucks. AVNR hitting 12.24, not quite hitting that 12.3 level that I was trying to target for the shorts. AVNR very low volume today as well. Lower volume than yesterday, and yesterday's volume was pretty low already. More bigger washout coming on TKAI. $24 is a pretty key support level, 24.5, 24.2. Because below that you pretty much got this little consolidation channel around 22s and then 21.5. Mobi still continuing to fade. But overall, this seems to be the theme, is that there's low volume all around. So definitely watch size. Mobi still continuing to tank. Hard to believe this thing was at $12 at one point pre-market today. Can't bring myself to chase the short down this much. Stock is down already 70 cents off the open alone. We'll wait for a pop of some sort to get back short on this thing. AVNR, nice fade back to 12. New high of day on TKMR. MOBI trying to bounce off of 959, which is where I have this line drawn. We'll look for a short against 10.20 or maybe just $10. TKAI trying really hard to hold 24s. AVNR trying to hold 12s. Look like a new low here on RWLK, so looking for a washout on that still. Very low volume. Range on TKAI right now between 24s and 25 twos. Looking like MOBI not even able to get back to $10. TKMR new high of day. 21.74. But still, most stocks trading below, well below average volume. MOBI now trying to bounce back toward 10. See if we can break 10 here. Looks like a 10 reject, so have an order in for 500 shares short at 9.95 and get filled. AVNR still channeling here. Between 12 and 12.2, so no real trade there at the moment. TKMR another new high of day, 21.84. Alright, filled some shorts at MOBI, targeting new lows, and we'll add shorts up to 12.2. That'll be my stop loss. 10.2 rather, sorry. So that's where this resistance line is. $10.2, 10.3-ish. 10.3 is where the stock opened at. It is catching a little bit of a bid, but I only have a small position anyways. If it gets rejected by 10.2, 10.3, we'll add some more shorts there. But the stock has already shown that it has a lot of downside. It has potential to move down very quickly. AVNR now kind of short squeezing a little bit. Be careful with that. Pointed out yesterday that SINO in the technical analysis session that it has a the capability to squeeze a little bit today, so keep an eye on that one. Decent volume. It's ready to make a move from 270s to $3. Alright, so we get a 10 reject here on MOBI, so I can play off of that as a stop loss now. 10.13 that high, so I could move my stop down to 10.13. So pretty much smaller risk now. TKMR 22s. So slowly grinding up to new highs with each candle, very impressive. So stop loss right now, like I said, on MOBI, 10.13s. New lows on red. Looking like new lows coming on VVUS as well. Alright, here comes a downward move on MOBI, so it looks like 10 is where it's having trouble. So looking for a fade to new lows. New lows on RWLK, so keep an eye on this one. Really wish the volume starts to pick up a little bit on it, but looking for that wash out of 30. 30 is a key level, so it breaks 30, could see some panic. No 30 crack just yet. A little bit of a nosedive on TKMR, fading to 21.7 off of that 22.11 high. Still looking for that fade on MOBI. Still just hanging around this 980, 990 level. Getting some bids here. May have to stop out. Bid just got whacked. Alright, gonna stop out. Took the $99 loss. Didn't like that the bids are creeping up, so gonna revisit this thing later, but not right now. The volume's just too low. Another nosedive on TKAI. Overall, pretty slow morning so far. Just waiting for those IPOs to come out. Make things a little bit more interesting. So you missed the IPOs. If you missed the technical analysis session from last night in my tweet, IPOs today: RBIO, VKTX, FOMX, and PRQR are the IPOs today. New lows on TKAI. So right now, let's see if this thing can fade maybe down to 23 flat, 22 or 21.5. Maybe the next levels. Needs more panic volume than this though. RWK almost at 30 bucks, so still looking for that washout. Maybe US still fading. $20,000 shares on the ask, 30.5 RWLK looking kind of heavy. So looking for a big washout on either RWLK or TKAI. MOBI starting to look heavy again. Alright, here's the washout. Not that big of a washout so far. I want to see this thing collapse really hard on heavy volume. Looking for 29s, 28s, or 26 5s. May catch a bid here, 29.52. That's not good enough for me to get in, as it is too close to that previous low at 30.4. Yeah, 90 cents below the previous low is not going to cut it. Wanted to see an epic panic collapse there, ideally to 29 flat at least. We're looking more toward 28s or 26s even. A 90-cent drop on just 100,000 shares isn't going to cut it. FOMX IPO level 2 is up. So it looks like that's going to be the first one to come out, so get ready for it. Still looking for that washout on RWLK. Not quite happening yet. Still no washout on RWLK. No washout, pretty much no play there. Looks like it's trying to do it again, but still catching a bid here in the 29 5s, 29 6s. AV and R not fading as well. Neither is MOBI at the moment, so pretty much no trade right now. Everything's just trading in a tight range on very light volume. Some information on FOMX stock is priced between $10 and $12, and 5.9 million shares are being offered. So similar to TKAI from yesterday. MOBI now back below 10. Alright, a little bit of a washout here on TKAI. Let's see if this thing goes to maybe mid 22s. Ideally 22 flat at this rate. Still no serious panic volume. 116,000 shares, not exactly panic volume. This thing's just slowly kind of dying out. You see the bounce is not that strong either. So these kind of small drops, not good risk reward setups, which is why I'm not taking them. I want to see some huge panic volume and a bigger drop. Drop at the open was almost $2 a share. These drops are about $1 a share, so on less than half of the volume at the open. A little bit of a bounce on RWLK. AVNR trying to break out of this channel to the upside. So it looks like they trapped a couple of shorts here. Maybe a potential short squeeze could be in the cards. We can break above and stay above 1230. So FOMX is now open. Stock is actually opening well below where they tried to price the IPO, curiously. Let's see, this turns out to be a good IPO, good volume. Decent IPO so far, making a move from 7.5 to 9.27. Nice bids. Right, got some here against those big bids at 9.27, and the stock's halted. So got only 100 shares filled at 9.28. So let's see how that plays out. Yesterday on TKAI, we got some pretty big pops out after the halts. So curious to see what happens here. I only got 100 shares anyways. If it drops a little bit lower, we'll add a couple more shares. But this stock curiously has opened well below where they priced it at. According to the NASDAQ website, 10 to 12 is where they priced it at. And then it opened at 7.5. So I'm not really sure why, but keep that in mind. Yesterday, TKI, when we saw them prop up the bid like that, the stock did run a little bit more. So we'll see what happens here. Tried to go for 250 shares, only filled 100 shares, so small risk anyways. AVNR now popping past that 12.3 line in the sand, so this could turn into a nice long and there's a little bit of a short squeeze. Yeah, it's halted. I'm not sure if there's a reason for halts when they prop up the bid like that, but whenever it seems like when they prop up the bid like that and then there's a bunch of sells at that price, it seems to halt. So I'm not sure what the rule is behind that, but every time they do that, the stock seems to halt. So yeah, let's just call, I mean, it's probably one of the volatility rules that they have, but I'm not entirely sure why specifically when they prop up the bid, that's when they halt the stock. But the stock did make a move over 10% anyways in a very short period of time. So with the 100 shares, maybe I could hold this thing, who knows. Risk tolerance a little high on this one, so maybe I can just hold this thing for a pretty big move. Who knows, maybe this thing ends up going to 20 bucks or whatever, like all the other IPOs, making like double or triple in a day. So by comparison, yesterday TKAI ran for, I believe, about 10:51 to 10:29, so it ran for about 22 minutes. So let's just see if this thing can run for about 20 minutes as well. Mobi is now finally deciding to tank. I really wish it did that a lot earlier, but now it's at 960s. Alright, there we go. Stock has opened again. $10. See if it goes to 11. $11. Big ask at 11 though. Might just sell it. Unless it breaks. Look like no break. Was about to punch in my sell at 10.9. Didn't quite get there. Now there's a wall of sellers at 10 taken out. So if it doesn't bust through 11 this time, I will sell it. Definitely a lot easier to do this with only 100 shares as opposed to maybe a lot more. Looking like it's selling off here. Alright, so a lot of sellers showing up. Just gonna get rid of this thing. Quick couple bucks here. Yeah, it's not looking too appealing. Alright, I just sold it 45 bucks, sold it at 973. Was trying to sell initially at 11, but couldn't punch in my order in time. Big seller showed up. It wasn't getting it taken out. Should have just sold it. So the top was at 11. And that was a good sell as this thing's going down now. A lot of big sellers showing up now. If you see in the level 2, it's pretty obvious. So just took the quick 45 bucks off the 100 shares and just walked. Just to show you that not every single IPO is born equal. Looks like they were trying to prop 9s there. So look like 9 is support moving forward, 11 the resistance, so that's your channel right there. Saw a couple bids get absorbed there around 902, 903. And there it goes, below 9s. Still big sellers on the ass, so it looks like they're selling a lot of shares here. It's not gonna go anywhere. That's probably all she wrote on FOMX PRQR level 2 now showing up. So let's move on to the next one pretty much here. Yeah, this thing looks pretty done. 5 consecutive red candles on the 1-minute chart. Yeah, I'm done watching this. So PRQR is coming up next. So let's wait for this one to come out. So information on PRQR, according to the NASDAQ website, priced at $11 to $13, 6.25 million shares being offered. So very, very similar to TKAI and the one that just came out, FOMX. So look for a similar action. Yeah, FOMX now in 870s. FOMX is done, guys. So quick pop and drop, a little bit of a pump and dump, kind of APS style there, and you know, pillage some of that money and just walk. So hopefully you guys got some nice trades in there on FOMX. $8.20s now on this thing. FOMX still turning it up. So at this point I'm just waiting for the PRQR IPO to come out. Right now not really much going on elsewhere. Nothing notable. Still no washout on TKAI or RWLK. MBOI suffered a pretty nasty downtrend today, fading from 51s to 48s. SPY right now kind of trading in a 59-cent range, so relatively tight range in comparison to the past couple days. So lots of signs pointing to a relatively slow day today. AVNR was trying to make an uptrend, now just kind of died out here. Again, guys, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you're more than welcome to ask them at any time. Of course, we'll answer them whenever I get a chance to. Like right now, where there's no trades, we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Why do you like daytrader? Because it's fast on the level 2. Hotkeys, love hotkeys. Pretty much that's the two most important things actually. A fast level 2 and the ability to enter trades quickly using hotkeys. That's two of the main reasons why I like daytrader. What is the best way to tell if a breakout is for real? The best way to tell if a breakout is for real is by letting it happen and letting it bust through that level cleanly, right? As in bust through that key level and staying above it, and then letting it back test that same level again on a dip and then holding it. That's how you tell if the breakout is real. Do you trade watching volume? Yes, volume is the most important thing when it comes to finding out which stocks to trade, because that indicates interest, right? Demand, right? You want to trade stocks with a lot of money flow in it, a lot of demand, a lot of interest, a lot of liquidity that allows you to get in and out of your positions easily, get filled. And they always say follow the money, right? So you want to trade stocks that have good volume. And how do you know if it's good volume? Just look at the volume relative to, the past. Right? If it's a significantly higher volume today and relative to yesterday, then there's a lot of volume, relatively speaking, on that particular stock. Is the main chart you watch intraday usually a 3-minute? Yes. The reason why is because 1 minute has too much noise. I feel like there's just too much random fluctuations there to kind of screw up the trend. So I stick to a 3-minute chart for a more clearer picture. 5 minutes is way too long for scalps, and 1 minute there's just too much noise. So I just found out that 3 minutes works the best. Started off using the 1 minute, but eventually moved on to 3 minutes. How do you set up the price line to look like that and not the default lines? So you just right click on the line, edit properties, it's all there. Style, change it to a dotted line, change the thickness, left extension on, right extension on, so it extends across the chart. Change the color to wherever you want, and that's how you do it. FOMX IPO out. Sorry I'm late. Yes, you are definitely very late to the party, my friend. So right now, still just waiting for the PRQR IPO to come out. None of the other IPOs that are slated for today have the level 2 up yet, so PRQR is going to be its stock, at least for the next couple minutes when it comes out. Hopefully it lasts longer than FOMX, which lasted only for like 3-4 minutes on the uptrend. Do you generally calculate your risk reward on a certain percentage ratio, or do you usually just set your stop around the technicals? So I've been trading long enough to kind of eyeball the risk reward ratio and kind of calculate it in my head, but it's pretty obvious. Basically you just use the technicals, basically support and resistance, and determine where you feel like the stock can realistically make a move in your favor versus the move against you. So you want to find a stock where the move in your favor is substantially higher. Usually what they say, a rule of thumb, is like a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio, right? So you want to look for a stock where the move higher is going to be 3 times, the reward is 3 times as high as your risk. So let's just say, for example, you buy a stock, the reward is say $3 a share, the risk is $1 a share on the loss side. So there you go, 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. So that would be a good example of that. So for example, my TKAI buy at the open on this washout, when the stock I think dipped from 26 down to 25, 24.5 rather. Kind of figured the stock would bounce back at least 50 cents or $1 or something, and the risk would be pretty much minimal as it's very close to the support line. So the risk was pretty much next to zero, and the reward was pretty much 50 cents, $1.50 per share. So that was a good risk reward setup, and that's why I entered that trade. I ended up making 300 bucks off of it. NETE experiencing a little bit of a pop right now. Some volume coming back. Just broke highs. But nothing too overwhelmingly impressive, but nonetheless something to observe and point out. Yeah, good old TAPM, huh? Moving up on air. Average dollar amount you risk per trade. Kind of hard to gauge it. More or less recently been playing a lot smaller, so you see me doing stuff like 500 shares on TKAI, so that would equate to, you know, $1,000 or whatever, or $10,000. Sorry, missing a zero. So $10,000 on stocks like this. More or less at the morning, if I see a nice solid play, it's not uncommon to see me risk closer to $100,000 on a trade, but usually on these smaller scalps, you know, 10,000, 25,000, around there, maybe even less than that. On some of the lower price stocks, sometimes, you know, the stocks are less than $20, less than $10. Sometimes I just do maybe 1,000 shares or something, so I'm risking maybe sometimes only $3,000, $5,000, and still making a pretty good gain, because 1,000 shares, you know, the stock moves 20-30 cents. That's still $200, $300 profit. So don't think that you need a big account or something. If you have only a couple $1,000s in your account, it's still possible on some of the smaller price stocks to catch maybe like a 20-30 cent move off 1,000 shares and still make $200, $300 per trade. You just gotta pick your spots. Thanks. Any advice for getting around the PDT rule? Yes. Write me an email. I'll send you some information. There's lots of ways around it. Basically, you can go sure trader, offshore broker, or you can go to a prop firm, domestic. You can also make multiple accounts, so you can have 3 day trades on each account. But send me an email at max@watchmadaztrade.com. and write you a more detailed email about that. It's a pretty common question I get, so more than happy to help you with that. TKAI new lows 22, not really flushing that much lower than the previous lows at 22.3, so really no risk reward play there, so no, I'm not going to try to play this little move. Still no. Okay, so we got PRQR is now open. Surprisingly, it's opened at 20 something bucks despite the website showing that it was going to open in around $11. Not really digging the price action so far. Let's see if it holds 20. Going below 20. I don't know what this is about. New lows. Pretty wild stock here. Not sure why I dipped that hard. Alright, so it just ran from 19.7s to 21s and now dipping back down to 20.6. So this one's kind of all over the place, so be careful with this one, guys. AVNR now back below 12. Yeah, I don't really like this one, guys. It's kind of all over the place, making new lows. Something an IPO shouldn't be doing. Look like a wall seller's at $20 now. Alright, took some at 20, just 100 shares, very small. If it doesn't break and hold above 20, just going to get rid of it. Alright, going to sell this pop. I just sold it at 20, made 21 bucks, and that was a good sell as it just dropped back to 19.8 just like that. So at least you know, made a couple big max out of it. Too risky to go in with a large position. This thing, don't really like the way this thing trades at all. So yeah, this one looks toast before we even got going. So it looks like a lot of people got burned on FOMX or something and couldn't afford to play PRQR, who knows. But this one looks done. Alright, so next one. No level 2s showing on the other ones yet, so I guess we can watch this PRQR circus for entertainment for the next couple minutes while I wait for the other ones to come up. There are some bids at $20. Now it's moving up a little bit. Still nothing really too convincing. Yeah, this thing's struggling to even make it to 21. And back to 20 it goes. And back below 20 it goes. So definitely no good. Don't try to trade this one, guys. Max, what do you think about ISNS? I'm in from 8.6. Do you think it dropped more or is it going to pop soon? Well, let's see. You're in at 8.6. That's pretty bad, man. Yeah, I would probably bail this thing immediately. Oh, okay, we're short. Oh yeah. You can target maybe 3.6s. Yeah, 3.5, 3.6. If it bounces off of that level, I would probably cover. That would be my strategy if you're short. So right there, 3.5, 3.6, because that's where it kind of flagged before this huge move. So you would expect to see some demand come up around 3.5, 3.6. So yeah, play off of that. If it drops below it, stay in. If not, I would probably cover it. RWOK flirting with new lows. So some of these IPOs, definitely not what it's cracked up to be. So definitely for the BABA IPO tomorrow, guys, don't make any assumptions that it's going to go up. Don't blindly buy it at the open. I've been in the investors live chat room just seeing some of the guys saying that they're just buying it at the open blindly or whatever. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is what's going to happen to you. So don't blindly buy at the open, guys. Hope is not a strategy, which is a very good book, by the way. You might want to check it out. PRQR dropping down below 19 now. Yeah, this thing looks like a total piece of crap. Not gonna even bother with this. New lows on TKAI, still no flush. 21.5 is a key support level from yesterday. 21.4. So a flush below that, this thing is going to drop down to $20 or lower. So this is a key support level for TKAI. Needs to bounce from here. New lows on RWLK as well, but still no flush. So still waiting for some sort of panic on either one of these stocks. Possible bounce off of 18 on PRQR, but not going to try it. Yeah, FOMX now below $8. So a lot of IPOs here getting killed. below $18 now, PRQR. The curious thing now is to see how these poor performing IPOs will affect the remaining IPOs that will be coming out. So VKTX and RBIO yet to come out. So curious to see how that's going to affect the performance of those IPOs. How can you mix daytrader level 2 and TOS in one screen? Pretty simple, because you can pop out the daytrader windows by right clicking on them and clicking on pop out, and that lets you drag your daytrader montage anywhere on your screen. Took me a while to set this up, but eventually figured it out. Figured out a layout that looks aesthetically pleasing to the eye and clean. Are IPOs your favorite plays? No, I just like to play things with momentum. So IPOs happen to be stocks that have momentum, so that's why they just happen to fall into that same category as momentum plays, and that's why I like to play them. But they're not my favorite plays. My favorite plays are big time washout dumps and getting in for the bounce. Those are my favorite plays. You know, plays like the TKAI, huge washout at the open, stuff like that. So still nothing on the other IPOs. NETE trying to make new highs again, 328s. So looking like 7.3, the bottom so far on PRQR, the high 10.69 on this little wick here, and this little wick was unable to break it as well. So the resistance are around 18.7, and then the resistance after that at around 19.66. But definitely volume has tapered off significantly. The last 3 1-minute candles not even trading over 100,000 shares. Can you show us again how to draw the green dotted line on the TOS chart? Yes, pretty simple. You click on this dollar sign right here, go to price level, and you click on the line, like anywhere in the chart. Then you just go for it. Click on edit properties, make sure left extension is on, right extension is on. Pick whatever color you want, and then make sure you pick this dotted line style. And that's it. I do have an article on my website giving a detailed instructional approach to how to do it, so I'm going to post that in the chat room so you can kind of review it when you don't have you know, me in front of you to ask. So let me go ahead and look for the article. Alright, so there you go. this article about 5 months ago. It was a pretty common question that I got amongst my subscribers, so I just decided to make it an article so you guys can reference. Alright, so 20 minutes away, 19 minutes rather, from 11 o'clock, which is the traditional slowdown period of the market. So we're going to have to see if we get any other setups, but right now I haven't seen a good setup in a while. TKMR starting to tank a little bit, new lows. Matt asked, do you play options too? No, I don't play options anymore. Tried it a couple years ago, wasn't my thing, and just kind of stopped doing it. But if you're interested in options, you're more than welcome to check out WatchMadazTrade.com, which is a live trading service dedicated to options trading by Stockhaven. So more than welcome to check that out. And if you subscribe to both Watch Him Trade and WatchMadazTrade, we do offer a discount rate if you subscribe for both. So if you're interested in that, shoot me an email, max@watchmadaztrade.com, and we'll set you up. Maz, are you directly routing your trades, or do you do that only for penny stocks? Yes, I kind of figured that for NASDAQs, big boards in general, isn't a big deal for routes. So hold on, give me 1 second. Looks like a washout on RWLK. Let's see if we can get a nice little bounce here. 28s were available only for a split second. But yeah, I only route on penny stocks because obviously fills are an issue for penny stocks, but fills usually are not an issue for big boards. So yeah, it's tough to get filled there at 28. They were available for only half a second, it seemed, for the bids kind of propped it back up to 28.5. But we're looking for more of a washout of this variety as it dropped from 29.3 down to 28, so that's a nicer drop. Still no sign of the VKTX or IPO yet. Do you use FinViz for your nightly scan? No, I actually do not. I just stick to the TOS scanner, and that usually works pretty well for me, but I will eventually switch to Equity Feed. Equity Feed's probably one of the best scanners I've seen, so we'll eventually switch to that pretty soon. But FinViz is a pretty good site too. I know a lot of people that use FinViz, and it's perfectly fine. So according to IPOscoop.com, looks like VKTX will be delayed until tomorrow, and it looks like RVIO is still indefinitely delayed, so possibly no more IPOs for the rest of the day. It's very, very possible. So that being said, I'll just give this session maybe another 13 minutes till 11 o'clock for you guys to ask your questions, and I'll go ahead and answer them as soon as I can. Right now I don't really see any trades, so I'm not going to force anything. Alright, do you scan intraday or just play off the ones off your list? Yes, I'm always constantly scanning. I always have my scanner up, and I always have my high-low ticker thing up from daytrader. That's pretty helpful as well. Shows stocks that are making new highs and new lows. Also always have a tweet deck open to see what's going on Twitter, and of course multiple chat rooms as well. You might already answer, but where do you find a daily IPO list? You go to the NASDAQ website. We'll go ahead and send you that link, and also another third-party website, IPOscoop.com, has some information as well. So on days like today where it's a lot slower, pretty much one thing that I learned is you gotta accept the fact that on days like this, you gotta accept that you're going to be making a little bit less profit on the day, but nonetheless, the goal is to not force any trades. A lot of people, they try to match their daily profit gains on on their good days, and they get a day where they make like $35,000, $10,000, and on a day like this, they try to force that same profit target. And sometimes when the opportunity is not there, it simply isn't possible or feasible to do that. So that's a mistake that a lot of people like to make, is that sometimes they can't accept the fact that there are slower days where you can't make as much money. So they start forcing trades, and instead of being up 200 bucks, or like today, for instance, I'm up $268. It's not as much as I was making earlier in the week. But some people, they can't accept that. They try to force trades to make $5,000, $10,000, and that's just simply not going to happen. They end up losing the couple $100 that they had green, and they end up red on the day. So that is definitely a critical mistake that a lot of new traders make. Still fall into that trap. So for what it's worth, this is my 20th day green. So I'm more than happy to take the opportunities that were there today, and take the green profits, up over $8,100 this week, so not too bad, and overall pretty satisfied with the way things have been going so far, and the way I've been managing the trades, taking advantage of any opportunities that have been there, and not trying to force opportunities that aren't there. Do you trade only in the mornings? I trade pretty much sporadically throughout the day, but I do put a heavy emphasis on the morning, because obviously that's where most of the volume is. Most of the action is at the open, and pretty much from my experience, I make most of my money at the open. So I do place a lot of emphasis in trying to nail the trades at the open. Trades like today's TKAI washout, which accounted for most of my gains. So stuff like that, try to nail the open. And then for the rest of the day, just take it easy and wait for opportunities. If they come, and if they don't come, that's perfectly fine. Just chill. Don't force anything. Of course, the next 8.5 minutes, definitely overall Been a pretty awesome couple of days. Hopefully you guys took full advantage of the free trading sessions as well as a technical analysis session last night. If you were able to attend all three, really appreciate it. That's really awesome. And hopefully you guys took away a thing or two about trading, and hopefully if you guys are interested, you can stay on and trade the BABA IPO with me tomorrow. But right now, kind of experiencing a little bit of a lull. A lot of plays that looked promising pre-market kind of slowing down or never really got going. What does level 2 show you? I don't know how to interpret. Now, it's a very broad question. It's going to be pretty hard for me to answer in a very small time frame, but basically level 2 kind of shows you, I guess in numerical form, what the chart is trying to tell you, right? Level 2 basically shows you supply and demand as well. The chart is showing you supply and demand. The level 2 is showing you supply and demand. So you want to use the level 2 in tandem with the chart to kind of identify which trades you should be entering and which trades you should be avoiding, right? So you want to see basically how the level 2 behaves at certain price levels. You know, you identify your support and resistance levels off of the daily chart. I mean, your chart in general. And then once you pretty much figure out those levels, you're going to watch the level 2 as it approaches those levels. What does it do, right? Does it kind of at a level of support? Does the level 2 show that there's high demand in terms of having a lot of bids and having a very few sellers on the ask, stuff like that? And basically the same thing for resistance. You want to see it, there's a lot of sellers versus buyers on the level 2. So that's pretty much what you want to look for, is just basically just confirm what you see on the chart and use that to make an informed decision to enter, whether or not to enter or not to enter a trade. Is tomorrow also free? No, unfortunately today is the last free day, so if you want to sign up for tomorrow, you're going to have to at least sign up for the trial. Did you record the TA demo so you can watch on YouTube? Yes, the TA demo is already on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/user/MadazTrader. For whatever reason, I still can't seem to figure out how to set that thing to 1080p, so I do apologize that the quality appears to be crappy. Did try to verify the account, but still not letting me do it. Not really sure why. Definitely I record in 1080p. It's the 21st century. I'm not going to record in 360p, but not really sure why, but you know, we'll see if I can figure it out here. But the video is uploaded for what it's worth, and it is available on YouTube, so you can kind of get a feel for how the technical analysis sessions are run. Yeah, a little bit of a wash on NETE, but nothing too spectacular. Only dipped about 7 cents or so. Are you going to show how you build your watch list? Well, basically, it's kind of hard for me to show how I'm going to build my watch list because it's still early in the morning. But basically, what I do is I just observe late in the day to see if there's any stocks that have a chance at nice continuation of the move the next day. And that's pretty much one of the main things I look for in terms of putting the stock on my watch list. So existing plays a day, see if it can continue on the next day. And also things I pick off of scanners, anything with news after hours, stuff like that. And those are stocks that typically would make my watch list. Is this recorded? Will you upload it to YouTube? Yes, I will record. All sessions are recorded. If you do end up subscribing to the service, all the sessions are also recorded as well, so you can access them at any time. So if you subscribe, you can access every single live trading video I've made since I started the service in March. so you could pretty much go back and watch any video you want at any time on demand. What internet speed do I get? I have Charter Communications. Unfortunately, in my area, I only have AT&T, which is a piece of crap. Charter, and recently Charter upgraded me to 66 megabits, so I'm pretty stoked about that. I was getting 35 megabits before. And I know some of you guys on the East Coast, you guys get like 100 megabits or whatever. On the West Coast, apparently they're not as technologically advanced. Aside from Silicon Valley, everywhere else, 66 megabits is pretty fast for the West Coast, so I'm pretty content with that. Did I eat breakfast today? No, I have not. Basically what I do is I get up at 5 in the morning, brush my teeth, grab a cup of coffee, and pretty much from then on, preparation for the live trading session, and pretty much I don't leave the screen until the end of the session. So that's what you call dedication. So, you know, no dedication, no results. So you gotta pretty much commit yourself to trading to become sufficiently good at it. Alright guys, about a minute and a half to go. So any last questions? I'll take a couple more questions. How did I get started? A very interesting story. If you asked me this question a couple years ago, I would have never guessed that I would end up trading for a living. Basically, I went to school for engineering, and I had my mind set on being an engineer. And then once I started doing engineering, my first day in the office, I pretty much already didn't like it and immediately looked for a way out. With the whole 9 to 5 gig, you know, life's too short to be working for somebody else. You're not going to get rich by working for somebody else. So pretty much ran to my coworker who said he trades stocks on the side, and he made 80 grand trading BP stock when it tanked on that oil spill news couple of years ago. And then I saw that he bought a Lotus, you know, the car, the Lotus, as a result from his profits. I was like, holy crap, you know, that's awesome, I want to do that too. And that's how I got started. And I do notice kind of a trend that a lot of traders are engineers or some sort of science or math related major or occupation. It's kind of interesting observation there. How did you educate yourself? What resources? Well, pretty much I learned from making mistakes myself and losing a ton of money. In retrospect, there are probably better ways around it than losing tons of money. But you know, the silver lining in that is I got to experience it myself and learn how it feels like to be losing money in the market, and it kind of gives me that feeling, that idea not to get that feeling again, because it wasn't a pleasant feeling to be down a ton of money, obviously. So it's an incentive for me moving forward to do whatever I can not to fall back into that trap again. So pretty much like everyone else, drank a lot of Kool-Aid, played a lot of iHug pumps, lost a lot of money, and progressively over time kind of realized those things were scams. And luckily I'm one of the few people that figured out in time before I you know, bankrupt myself. So hopefully you guys out there you know, figure out these obvious mistakes, like you know, believing random hype or news or whatever. Don't fall into that trap. You will lose all your money. Being self-employed, did you set up a corporation or LLC? Did you buy your own health insurance? Yes, I did have to buy my own health insurance. It's really expensive. So if you do end up considering going trading full-time, consider your expenses, please. My bills are pretty high a month, but that's because you know, when you run your own business, not just trading, but anything in general. You got to cover your own health insurance, and you got to pay for everything else as well. Taxes, quarterly taxes. Take these into account whenever you decide to trade full time, because it's going to really bite you in the ass if you don't really consider them. So, my health insurance is ridiculous. I pay almost $500 bucks a month for health insurance. So, you might want to factor that in before you decide, say, I'm going to quit my job, I'm going to trade full time, I'm going to be a badass, You might want to consider that before you do that. So I did think long and hard about that before I decided to go full time. How much money did I start with? I started with $6,000. You pay quarterly taxes. You can't just pay at the year end. When you are declared as a trader and mark to market, you have to pay quarterly taxes, because basically when you get a regular paycheck for a regular job, right? Every single paycheck, there's a withholding, right? You go look at your pay stub, it says whatever federal tax withholding, right? When you're working on your own, you're paying yourself, right? There is no withholding. So quarterly taxes is basically a way for the government to take the withholding from your business profits. So that's basically how it works. Basically, you're giving the government an interest-free loan. So, if you end up losing money or whatever, they give you a refund at the end of the year, for the same way that they give you a refund for your paychecks for your regular job. But nonetheless, I think it's kind of messed up. You're giving them an interest-free loan, right? But nonetheless, that's just how it works. So you got to deal with it. How do you figure out your taxes, or do you hire someone? I did my taxes on my own for the first couple of years, but at this point, since I'm a full-time trader now, it's just way too complicated. Lots of forms and all this crap, and a lot of different tax write-offs and Form C and all that. So now I have to hire a CPA to do it, and it took me 3 months to find a guy that knows how to do it, and it took me 50 phone calls. I find it hard to believe that there's no CPA within a 50-mile radius of Los Angeles that knows how to do taxes for traders. But I guess that shows you that there's not that many people that trade for a living. So it's a pretty niche thing. So do bear in mind that it takes a while to find a guy that knows what he's talking about. So don't wait to the last minute to call up a CPA, because more often than not, they're not going to know what they're doing. If you're a trader with the IRS, not just small biz, all small business pay quarterly taxes, not just traders. Yeah, absolutely. All small businesses pay quarterly taxes for the same reason I explained. It's just a way for the government to take withholding from your profits. All right, guys, gonna take maybe 3 more questions before I pour myself a bowl of cereal. When you're buying on the watch, how do you determine your profits? So pretty much it's just the previous resistance. Once it bounces past that key resistance level, it's probably going to get like a nice little pop, right? And it pops above it, maybe a couple cents. I usually just take the pop. Don't really risk any more than that. So I made a nice 60 cents this morning on TKAI. That was a nice little gain right there. So I'm more than happy to take that. So that's how I determine my profits. Usually on the ensuing pop, usually pops maybe like a stock like TKAI, is not uncommon for it to pop like $1 or something. So you just take the pop and you just sell into it. Are you coming back later? Sorry, I missed that part. No, I am not coming back later. I will be hanging around the chat room, but I won't be streaming after this. Any comments on the preferred online broker? Do you go on margin? Pretty much my broker has been Speed Trader. I've been using them for the past 2 years. No problems with them. Really low commissions. They're very flexible. I get $2.50 commissions per trade, flat rate with them. So pretty awesome. That saves me a ton of money. I do plan on opening a Centerpoint account at some time in the future for shorts, because Speed Trader is not good at shorts with with some of these stocks as Centerpoint. Centerpoint is probably the best. So if you're looking for shorts, Centerpoint is probably the ideal broker for that. Second honorable mention would be Interactive Brokers, and then third I would say would be SureTrader if you're looking for shorts. Longs, Speed Trader is pretty solid for that. So like I said, they're pretty flexible with commissions. So those are my preferred brokers. If you're just starting out and you don't want to deal with some of these BS fees, because some of these brokers like Speed Trader, they do have a lot of platform fees and inactivity fees and all that stuff. You don't want to deal with that. You know, if you're new, just stick with your traditional E-Trade or Ameritrade and get used to the system first. There's no real hidden fees with those mainstream brokers. Do you trade through a platform? No. Just trade through Street Trader. Off-topic question: what does Madaz mean? So basically, Madaz is just this is a nickname. People just started calling me that. Pretty much, it's basically short for Mad Asian Footballer. Basically, I play football, international football, so it's soccer. Mostly Asian, part French, and Mad is crazy, so crazy Asian soccer player. That's basically what it was, and people just shortened it to Madaz, and I thought it sounded kind of cool, so that's how that came about. Alright, so that's pretty much it for questions, unless you got something really pressing. Alright guys, so that's pretty much all I got for today. Pretty much everything's kind of slowing down, not really much going on. So I would advise you guys to do the same. Don't force any trades. Go outside, throw a frisbee or something. Pretty much it's slower day to day, you know, it's just how it is. Calm before the storm for the BABA IPO tomorrow. So that being said, this is the last free day I will be hosting for now. If you guys are interested in trading the BABA IPO tomorrow, at least sign up for the trial or something, and you can more than happy to join me tomorrow for the BABA IPO. And that being said, thanks a lot for coming, guys. Do appreciate you guys coming out. If you guys made it out to all 3 sessions, awesome. This video will be posted. The session was recorded. It'll be posted on my YouTube channel. If it shows up as 360p, I really don't know what to do about that, as I am recording in 1080p. So I don't know, we'll see, but it will be posted on YouTube nonetheless. And that being said, thanks a lot for coming, guys, and we'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow for the BABA IPO if you decide to sign up. Alright guys, have a wonderful rest of the day.